them win Game 2 and even us up. So, Jenny Dalton-Hill, what should we watch for?
Well, with Clemson, their bats have shown up, but hiccups defensively have opened the door for Texas. For Texas, 4-9 were quiet in Game 1. Game 2, the bats showed up in the bottom of the lineup. That production evened the series.
One more game to go to claim a slot in the women's college world in Austin, but fortunately it's cooling off a bit. And we have a rematch in the circles of the Game 1 starters, Tegan Cavan for Texas.
Yeah, Tegan Cavan came away with a big relief appearance yesterday, and she's thrown in both of these super regional games here in Austin. Her last 7 starts, though, Pam, have been a little shaky.
Yeah, certainly not what we are used to seeing from her premier pitcher, a sophomore out of West Des Moines, and we are underway. Clemson wearing the all-purples trimmed in orange. Let's take a look at our Capital One starting lineups. Alex Brown starts things off, and you have your eye on Julia Nola.
Yeah, she's the leader in doubles and a solid RBI producer in that 3 spot.
Yeah, this is a Clemson team that won the ACC tournament for the very first time this year, and they are hitting .328 on the season, led the ACC in doubles. Alex Brown against Cavan. She is 6 for 10 in the super regionals, all of them singles. Here's your scout on Tegan.
Well, she'll touch 70 miles an hour, throws her rise over 50% of the time and uses it to all levels, but also has a drop ball. So between the two, 12 inches of vertical break.
Wow, that's quite significant. As the count goes to 3-1 on Brown. And Cavan was really good out of the pen last night. 5 innings, 5.2 innings rather, and that is a 5-pitch walk. And you mentioned, Jenny, that Cavan in her last 7 starts, last night good, but she was out of the pen, but in her last 7 starts, these are not typical numbers for her.
No, she's thrown better than this all season long. It's that 7.33 ERA as a starter that has me concerned. Those last 7 games have been against the toughest competition of the year.
Playing in the SEC for the first time this year. And now Maddie Moore, one of the senior leaders on this team. Had a 2-run home run last night in Game 2, but when Cavan came in, Tegan struck her out twice last night.
I was just really impressed with the way that Cavan took the circle in relief. She seemed a little bit more aggressive in the circle, and you could see in the beginning of the game right here, she's still feeling out the strike zone, trying to figure out where the top and bottom will be to get the called strike.
Got a very good catcher behind the plate in Reese Atwood, one of the best hitters in the country, leading the nation in RBIs. And she hit a home run last night as well. 2-1 now to Moore. Is that a swing? Nope.
Again tonight, Pam, we've got another group of burnt orange umpires that are going to let their opinions be known.
Great fans here. We've had capacity crowds all 3 nights, even with that hour-and-a-half rain delay on Thursday night when we got started. Moore swings through.
Well, and I wish I could even call it a rain delay. It was actually a lightning delay, and because of that, you had to clear the stadium. It's the rise ball that was a difference maker for Cavan. She used it so effectively yesterday in that relief appearance, and right now pushes it to a full count.
Gone to 3-ball counts on both of the batters that she has faced so far. And Texas taking on a Clemson team that will definitely take their walks. They are building on their team record already, with Brown leading off with the walk. Cavan's only walked 2 people so far in the supers. Brown over there at first. Moore takes a hack and sends it back.
Well, you mentioned those free passes, Pam. She's had 45 walks on the year in 171 2/3 innings pitched. That's a very low number, but you're right. Free passes are what hurt her in the Game 1 opener. And here tonight, leads off the game with a walk. Just not characteristic of what we're used to out of Cavan.
8th pitch of the at-bat, also close, but called a strike. And Cavan strikes out Moore for the 3rd time in 2 days.
I tell you what, that right there, competitive pitch in a tight spot. That's how you know Kavan is feeling it. Nice little change piece, outside corner. Early in the game, you cannot leave it up to the umpire.
So a walk and now a strikeout brings up Noller. Just a sophomore, and she doesn't waste any time. Really good center fielder out there, and Caden Henry got to the ball quickly, so runners on first and second with just one out. Take a look at the Texas defense, and we've seen the changes after game one when Stewart struggled at shortstop.
Yeah, you'll notice Stewart now in left. The Good was the second baseman in game one, moved her to shortstop. Bennett was the left fielder, moved her to second. That's been the key change defensively to get the game 2 win.
Another first pitch swing, this time by Cintron, trying to turn the double, but Mitchell couldn't get her foot down in time. The throw made her leap up, so runners on the corners now with 2 away. Brown, or actually, it looks like we might get a challenge because Noller is staying put over there at second.
Yeah, it's very clear that first base, Jolie Mitchell was off the bag. Your priority as a first baseman is to get the ball first. So each coach has 2 challenges. Whether they win the challenge or lose the challenge, there's only 2 for the entire game. So she's safe at first. The challenge is actually happening on the play over at second base. Pretty early for a challenge already, Pam, but Coach Rittman not wanting any runs, or not wanting to take any runners off the base pass if possible this early in the game. So they're looking at obstruction over at second base with a ground ball to Good. They're saying that there was obstruction. I do not see the obstruction. I think that is a great play by the second baseman Stewart to touch, get back out of the base path. That looked pretty textbook to me. Over at first base, Mitchell has to jump to get to the ball, but when she comes back down, does not land on the bag. So very clearly safe over at first. And
that was not the challenge. The challenge was at second. As you mentioned, Bennett playing second with that reshuffle after game one. Mitchell making the right play. Got to make sure you secure the ball.
Yeah, your priorities as a defender is ball first, bag second.
After further review, the runner at second base is out. That's Clemson's first challenge.
So Coach Rittman burns a challenge in the very first inning. So it does leave runners on the corners. Now with 2 away, and Abby Vieira in the batter's box, and now Mike White, the head coach for Texas, comes out to have a chat with our home plate umpire, Ron Burkhart. We're off to a slogging start tonight.
Well, there's so much on the line, and you can see both of these coaches wanting to find every avenue to be successful. I'm not sure what Mike White is arguing at this point. Even got assistant coach Steve Singleton out of the dugout to have a conversation as well.
Mike White and John Rittman know each other very well. Coach White's daughter recruited and played at Stanford for a couple of years, and Mike White at Oregon when Coach Rittman was at Stanford, now in his 5th full season at Clemson.
Well, that conversation by Coach White is actually, they were talking about taking it to obstruction on the throw going over to first base because she didn't get down to slide until very late. But the problem with that is, as a second baseman, you've always been taught to clear yourself of the base path, make the throw hard and through, and if it hits the runner, then you go ahead and go to the challenge.
So Vieira trying to come up with a big 2-out base hit. Abby hitting .333 in the Super Regional with a run driven in. There's the aforementioned Mr. Rittman. What a great job he has done starting this program from scratch.
Yeah, the program began 6 years ago, but if you remember, that was in COVID. And so with that shortened season, the first full season happening in 2021, John Rittman able to take each of his full season teams all the way to the postseason.
Good at short, flips it over to Bennett to end the threat. Clemson moves 2 on as we head to the bottom of the first. Good, really living up to her name in the Supers.
Yeah, good is good. Her home run got the scoring started in game 2. Maybe the most important part, though, was moving her to shortstop after game 1, and that solidified the defense.
And Katie Stewart had struggled there, and now she's been playing the last 2 games, including tonight in left. Good over at short, and you know better than anyone that how important it is to have a solid middle infield defense. And here's Maloney to start things off against Basinger. She is 5 for 9 in this Super Regional.
She's just swinging a really hot bat. She was 7 for 12 in regionals before this Super, and she's fast. She sets the tone. She sees a lot of pitches in that leadoff slot.
Just 11 extra base hits, no home runs. Collins, the freshman, throws her out to begin this night for the Texas hitters as we take a look at the defense now behind Basinger, the era of the veteran catcher. Basinger, big fan of hers, and Maddie Moore, the demon over there at second base.
Yeah, in her senior season has just evolved and matured into maybe the best second baseman in the country.
Yeah, here's Caden Henry, who had a big game 1, a little quiet last night by her standards, but an energizer, a terrific defensive center fielder. 4 for 10 in the Supers, 3 of those hits coming in game 1. And if she gets on, her speed is a game changer.
It is 30 stolen bases on the year. She had a stolen base in regionals, but has not had one here in the Supers.
She's behind Basinger 0-2. Henry just a sophomore, second team All-SEC, and your scout now on Basinger.
She's going to throw 63 to 64 miles an hour, very spin-focused pitcher. She is not going to overpower you with velocity, but she's going to mix her speeds, which makes it difficult to hit off of. The transfer coming in from Winthrop just this season, trying to fill the shoes of 3 big arms that graduated out of the program last year.
Yeah, Basinger, in fact, has 0 strikeouts in this regional, and there's Maddie Moore flashing the leather.
Yeah, she's told us before this Super Regional started that she likes defense more than hitting, which is something I cannot relate to, but she said she would much rather take 300 ground balls than hit for 30 minutes, and, well, shows right there. Nice little jab step, second out.
Yep, made it look easy to get the always dangerous Henry, who I'm sure was thinking double as soon as she made contact. Mia Scott, the number 3 hitter, has 3 hits this weekend, including a home run and a triple.
The story of transfers all across the country is they typically have played against the school that they then attend, and that's what happened with Basinger. She pitched so well against Clemson, caught the eye of John Rittman. There's that changeup. That's going to be the pitch that she throws all night long. She is not trying to overpower these hitters with speed and velocity out of the circle. She's going to nip corners. She's going to spin that changeup, drop it in for strikes.
That's pounded to it for a solid single into right field. So Scott's on base as Reese Atwood comes up.
Mia Scott is just so good. She leads the team in average. And before the Super Regional, she had not struck out since April 19th against LSU.
And now Atwood, who is as hot as anybody, hitting .550 in the postseason. That includes a couple of games at the SEC, the regionals last week, and so far here, and we saw her hit a home run yesterday that barely cleared the wall, but in that same at bat, she hit one that was barely foul a long, long way down the left field line.
Yeah, short hop the building out and left, which sits 280 feet from home.
There, she hit that one hard, but it was right at the left fielder Johnson, allowed out. Texas strands a runner. She has 3 hits in this Super Regional. She had a big weekend last weekend, hitting .500 in the postseason. Part of this freshman class that has surprised a lot of people.
Well, they had big shoes to fill. I mean, when you step in trying to take over for names like Mackenzie Clark, Valerie Cagle, Aaliyah Logaleo, Millie Thompson, those are some iconic names in the Clemson program that have to step up quickly to perform, and they've done so this year. So impressed with the way that Marion Collins has been able to take over that shortstop position and swing the bat with authority.
Takes the 2-1 pitch into the netting. Clemson finished second in the regular season in the ACC after a strong finish, and was able to beat the top seed and regular season champion Florida State Seminoles in the championship game.
Well, it was during that stretch that they also beat South Carolina in a midweek. Marion Collins had two home runs off of South Carolina. But goes down with the changeup. Man, that's a nasty pitch. Tegan Cavan is so good at just being able to take control of a game and stifle an offense with that pitch down and away.
So that is the second strikeout for Cavan, and here comes another true freshman in Taylor Pipkins. Two for 9 so far in this Super. She was the MVP of that ACC tournament.
Painting that corner so well tonight. After that leadoff walk to start the game, she settled in quickly, been able to find the edges of the strike zone and just pepper them.
Cavan with over 200 strikeouts on the season. Trying to pick up her third tonight. That was some nifty glove work there by Atwood.
I hate to say it, it was a little dramatic. With nobody on, there's no need to block it up. Cool. But I like that little flair.
I like that.
Why wear it when nobody's on?
Pipkins, go ahead, pardon me.
And the way that Atwood back behind the plate has played so solid. She has not allowed runners to steal off of her, but the way that the Clemson freshmen have been able to produce this year, look at that, 43% of the home runs coming off those freshman bats.
Another 1 and 2. Pipkins spoils it again. Cavan's 30th pitch of the night. It was also sent out of play. In the first 2 games of this Super Regional, one start and 1 relief appearance for Cavan. She had thrown over 200 pitches. And here's her 8th just of this at bat. Play for good. Solidifying that shortstop position, 2 away.
And that's just the biggest change that Texas made. They made the change actually during game 1, but it was too late. There was too much ground to make up, and the way that Good came in so confident and controlled with great range and solid throws across the diamond, impressive show for her at shortstop and the needed change for Texas.
Now Kylie Johnson, who has been struggling at the plate in this NCAA tournament. Big swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts in the first 2 games of this Super Regional. Struck out 5 times in the regional last week. Did have a home run. And the peel down, no swing.
In her sophomore season, Coach Rittman actually made her a starter earlier in the year, but those hiccups at the plate pulled her out of the starting lineup, re-emerged later in the year, but still learning how to be disciplined at the plate. Just so susceptible to that ball up in the zone. It's been a bunch of strikeouts on the rise ball for her. You mentioned it, last night struck out 4 times, 2 of them looking, 2 of them swinging. And those swinging strikeouts were up in the zone on the rise.
Laid off of that high pitch. Vaughn throwing quite a few pitches so far in this inning. As it started to cool off here now that the sun is setting. It's only 90 degrees with a feel-like temperature of 97.
It's felt like good softball weather. Today when I stepped out of the hotel, I realized today has a different feel.
It's a little blasty feel to it. And that's a blast for Kavan. Clemson goes down in order for only the 3rd time in this Super Regional, and that's 3 Ks already for Kavan.
Kavan is focused in the circle. That rise ball sits right above the belt, but because it started so low,